Of course, it's absolutely brilliant racing at the moment.
Hi, I'm Gugu and welcome to round 2 of the West Bank Super Series in Cape Town. This is the Bridgetown production cars.
In this show, world-class racing is back in the mother city with world-class drivers and world-class cars. Get ready for second round coverage of the Bridgestone production cars with the South African West Bank Super Series.
For all the information on the West Bank Super Series, visit our website www.westbanksuperseries.co.za, as well as follow our links to our Twitter account as well as Facebook, and stay in the loop.
Lots to look forward to, including the race debut of the BMW F30. But first to Class A qualifying, and Greg's got the lowdown.
Sasa Subaru looked really good in qualifying, but unfortunately only managed a 4th place. Debuting out there for Taylor in 3rd in the Afrox BMW, Michael Stephen looked good and got to 2nd place, but it was the welcome return of the India Oil Audi in his hometown on pole position. Confirmation of Ferrari and Michael Stephen, 2 Audis on the front row.
Second row, it's Anthony Taylor and Henny Grunewald.
The 3rd row, the second of those BMWs, and Etienne van der Linde at the wheel with Dion Joubert alongside him.
Melville Priest and the other Audi, and then Chop Sapuka.
Right behind them, Pinard and Modak.
Round 2 of the Bridgestone Production Car Championship. We're in Cape Town, the mother city. An outstanding performance in the qualifying from Johan Ferrari. It's like a love affair with Cape Town again, Johan.
Yeah, no, Cape Town's my home circuit. I got a lot of support from here. But this year's been an emotional rollercoaster ride, and we're just happy to be back. I mean, the team kept being motivated. They did all they can from their side to get the car up to speed. Everybody was involved, the fans, the supporters, Kosi Swanepoel, Cor van Vielen, and especially EPS, Philip Sarfontein, to all support us and keep on pushing, making sure it happen. And of course, there's India all coming back on board and supporting us for the remaining of the season, which is really great. And yeah, this shows us what we can do. And we're so motivated and so desperately to be back on the track, so it just shows.
Michael Stephen, there's going to be a lot of competition out there today.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, the times are really close. I think the top 5 are covered by 0.3 of a second. So we're on the front row, as you mentioned. We always want to be one higher, but I think it's going to lead to a good race, and we've got the good race pace. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Not a great way to start the race meeting this weekend. Had a big shunt yesterday in practice. Can you take us through it?
Yeah, it started raining about a minute before our practice yesterday. Went out, probably tried to brake a little late for the first corner on my first flying lap. Stuck it in the wall quite hard and spent the rest of the day panel beating the car, you know. So we managed to get it back for qualifying this morning. But with no practice yesterday, you just don't know where you are, you know.
So Melville, as always, in the thick of it, as with the rest of the drivers pre-race, with public adulation as autographs were the order of the day, with Cape Town favourite Johan Ferrari doing more than most. As it happens, we were very close to losing Johan. Problem solved, he's still here, and that's great. Michael Stephen joins Ferrari on the front row in the Audi S4. Team Sassel Subaru Henny Grunewald hoping to bag some points. And finally, it's here, the new sexy BMW 335i. So van der Linde and Taylor in the new BMs, and with thousands taking advantage of rubbing shoulders with the stars, the question was what was under the hood. Michael Stephen didn't know. Pitman Gary van der Spade talked to Team ADF Motorsport Principal Donovan van Heerden. What was going on? Clearly there was something special about it, and with excitement brewing, most were in awe. Even the kids. But the focus was not just about Class A. Class T was here, with big names. Nathan, Bonafide, Formato, Dumini. Time to clear the track as the red mist began to set in. With the pole man Johan Ferrari selecting a rolling start, it was time to fire up the engines. This is race 1.
8 laps of action about to come our way, and the rolling start. On the inside is going to be the India Oil car. On the outside is the Engine Extreme car. The 2 Audis side by side as they go down to West Bank Corner. The BMs are already starting to put pressure on as they come through West Bank Corner. And Etienne van der Linde nearly sneaking up and outgunning Henny Grunewald. In fact, he might have snuck through. Here we go, on board with Grunewald. And alongside him, getting forced wide, and real tight stuff. Look at that. A little bit of rubbing right at the start and into engine corner. Unfortunately, on the outside of this track, you're not going to get through there. But Etienne is trying everything he can, and Groenewold is just playing it very hard at this stage.
One of the big things that BMW is trying, Greg, is to actually make sure, not about the top-end speed down straights, but make sure that they're able to get through the corners with a lot of speed.
Now, the handling package on those cars has always been good, and with this new F30, it's going to be unbelievable to see how it goes. Here we go on board with Van der Linde, looking at the back end of Groenewold. Can he make any headway here as they come through Malmesbury? Double right-hander, get that apex, get the power down. Listen to this BMW, absolutely flat out down this back straightaway, trying to close down on the Subaru, and the Subaru is hassling his teammate. So it's kind of two BMWs with that Subaru in the mix. And very hard braking is required down into Cape Town corner. Just behind them, you can see Melville Priest and Chop Sapuka coming through the field.
Melville in the Mueller Sports Medicine. Of course, he had a massive shunt in the practicing before racing today.
But remember, it was wet in practice, and we've got ideal conditions right now.
Well, it's not doing too bad. I mean, that car is on the back left 20 millimeters shorter than what it should be. So he's going to have a tough task ahead of him today.
The two Audis at the front are not having any problems right now because the BM of Taylor can't find a way to get past just yet. You can see somebody's run wide there. There's a bit of debris on the circuit out of Westbank corner now towards Engine corner, and the Engine Extreme Audi putting pressure on. It's not only an Audi battle there, it's kind of a battle of the two oil companies too. Indy Oil versus Engine. Right now, the Indy Oil team are going to be very happy with the performance of that car.
And certainly with those BMWs, I mean, we've got 300 kilowatts of power out there, and they're really looking good in those corners. I mean, I love this fact. Look at this car. It's absolutely stunning. And no wonder it generated a lot of interest before the race. Oh, my goodness. Richard Pinnard in trouble.
Yeah, Pinnard with a massive flame under the car there, and those Sassel flames are not good, especially right in that corner. Now we go a little bit further up in the field, and you can see that Stevens still not found a way through. It's lap 3 of 8, and he's getting sideways. Man, he's trying hard.
And so is Chop Sapuka as well. I mean, he's not to be outdone as well. Through the Malmesbury corner, it's a wonderful part of the racetrack. They really have to get good drive out, as we've said before, down the back straight, and still we're on board. Wonderful shots here.
Everything she's got. What is that BM going to be able to do to try and close down on the two Audis? Maybe Niaz Modak, the fourth Audi out there, of course, he pulls into the park for Mesa. Problem for the old A4 version of the car, but the Indy Oil car at the front end, he's hanging on. This is going to be a welcome return here. And there's a BM stricken on the side. That's Taylor. Taylor is out. Taylor's pulled to the sideline. There's a problem on that Afrox BMW.
Well, we'll get some clarification on what's going on with that car, but that is really strange. They spent a lot of time putting these things together. Lap 7 of 8, one more to go, and I'll tell you what, Farid's looking good. Yeah,
he's looking really good as they come through Engine corner. Melville Priest has made a move on the inside and is going to sneak ahead of Etienne van der Linde. So the two Afrox boys having a not their own way here. It's all-wheel drive cars in the first 4 positions on the track. The first of the rear-wheel drive cars, and the lone BMW at the front end from Team Afrox BMW is van der Linde.
Well, it's rather strange because you would expect these cars on the final lap right now, but you'd expect these cars to be performing, particularly these all-wheel drive Audis in the wet, and the BMWs really performing during the drive. Look at that, a great race win for Johan Free. Well, it was flag to flag.
No one bettering the Indy Oil car. What a welcome return back to Bridgestone Production Cars. The first victory on his home track. He's going to be happy about that. Confirmation of the first 5. We're looking at Johan Free in that top position ahead of Michael Stevens' Engine Extreme Audi. Henny Groenewold first at Subarus. Etienne van der Linde first at BMs. And a great drive from Priest to finish in 5th.
Yeah, I think he picks up a penalty. But then Chop Sapuka, Dion Joubert, Kashir Pitt-Amber, and John Mayer. What a way to start the day, Johan Free. Race 1, for race number 1, you must be delighted.
Yeah, I'm very delighted. I think the team, like I said earlier, the team did a fantastic job. Only disadvantage at this stage is the tyres. We only had them for the first time yesterday afternoon in the last session, 4 laps. So I don't know what they're going to react like in the race, and I think we started pushing a little bit. So hopefully the fuel can burn down for race 2, and then the balance should come back. So I don't want to really make a change, and maybe to change for the last race. But otherwise, I'm over the moon. Felt Michael was a little bit stronger in holes, especially, but the 2 fast corners, I definitely had my match. I definitely was faster than him in the 2 high-speed corners coming onto the back straight. So I think it's pretty even. But yeah, like I think there's still a lot for us to come in the tyres, and then we'll get there eventually.
So a quick draw here to see how many cars are going to be inverted, and how much is it? It's 6 cars. 6 cars inverted for race number 2. This is going to be some fun and games. That'll put Chop Sapuka on the front row, and that means he gets to allocate what kind of start they're going to have. And like his teammate at Swartkops, he's decided to go for the standing start. Oh, and he's jumped it as well, and so has Melville. The two of them getting away just before the 5-second board man got off the track. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Into turn one, West Bank corner. It's engine extremes 1 and 2. Whoa, Groenewald gets run really wide by Johan Fourie. He's not holding back. He's already up to 4th place.
Impressive, absolutely impressive. But did you also notice John Mayer was pulled off before the start, obviously leaking some fuel there, which is a bit of a no-no, and it's going to ruin his day.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to be the way you want to start the race, but here we go, side by side. This is Van der Linde's view of Johan Fourie driving around the outside of engine corner and getting to 3rd place. Unbelievable stuff. We've got Audis 1, 2, and 3, 2 engine extreme ones, and the Indy Oil car right in front of this Afrox BMW, the lone BMW from the Afrox stable. Remember, and sideways action from Michael Stephen. Where are you going, Michael?
Lots of bodywork there. I'm sure I saw something fly off the car. Well, they've got a lot of that duster on the track to compensate for the oil that's been spilt. I hope it wasn't John Mayer. Well, it wouldn't have been, would it? He wasn't even out there.
Etienne van der Linde now down that back straight away. There's Melville Priest. He's had to pull to the sideline, so he's not going to finish race number 2. So it's an Audi battle royal at the front, and as we said in race number 1, it's also the engine oils that are battling at the front there. Then you've got the BMW. Behind them comes the first and only Subaru out there of Henny Groenewald, and behind them, Dion Jabeur in the Pertec car.
What's been quite impressive from the BMW stable is Etienne van der Linde has been on the pace, and he's been racking up results since he's joined the team Afrox BMW team, and looking pretty good. Now, can he get this F30 firing?
I just want to say to you, we've got a man in his home track moving to 2nd place and putting pressure onto Chop Sapuka, the pole man, who is already under suspicion of a jump start. So a possible 30-second penalty going towards Chop Sapuka, which kind of gives Johan Fourie the lead of the race right now, because he knows Chops has already made a jump. He's got to just sit behind him and put the pressure onto him. The same thing that Henny Groenewald's trying to do here to Van der Linde.
Well, certainly Johan Fourie is putting on the show, but under pressure right now, Van der Linde from the Subaru, Henny Groenewald, is looking to bag some points, and he needs to get his championship on its way. Of course, it's early days in this championship, and we're on board with Henny right now. Brilliant shots. Van der Linde in the new F30 BMW in front of him as they come out of Malmesbury and onto that back straight. What kind of power? We've always known that the Sassel Subaru has had great straight line speed.
Yeah, especially down here at the coast, they go really well, but there's a move. And it looks like that little off-track excursion is costing Michael Stephen, because he just keeps falling further and further back. Little touch here between Stephen and Groenewald. He knew he was there, and this was a little rub to say, I'm here, and you can't turn in right now, otherwise you're going to both end up on the side of the track. Chop Sapuka, though, at the front end at a halfway mark, looking to go defensive on Johan Fourie. Fourie cuts back, gives him a little tag, and forces him wide. Will Fourie get through? Yes, he will. Unbelievable racing here. Brilliant stuff from the Indio Audi.
Begs the question, is that allowed?
I'm sure there's a little tap. Rubbing's racing. That's what they say. But he did. Oh, he gets the favour return. Chops gives him one and says, yeah, I can give it just as good as you can get. And that's how it's all about at the front end. But Chop Sapuka, he had the lead. He's given it up to Johan Fourie. Fourie is going to look for a double here in the sprint races.
Yeah, Chops is not finished with this. You can tell he just loves the competition. And with Fourie in front of him, he'll come charging. There's no doubt about that. On the way through to the Rose Foundation sweep, a really cool part of the racetrack, and then into the Malmesbury, and then onto the back straight, and it's still Fourie leading them all out. And I think you're quite right. I think a double's possible here.
I stand to be corrected, but the last time Chop Sapuka had a victory, it was here in Cape Town, so he loves to be here in the mother city, but unfortunately, it's going to be the man from Cape Town who's going to outgun him here. Van der Linde is pushing hard. We go back on board with him as they get onto the back straight. Look at how Fourie was sideways there. That was four-wheel drifting in a quattro car. You don't get better than that. I can tell you that right now.
Well, the most important thing as well, we could have actually had rainy conditions over this weekend, but I'll tell you what, the weather's played ball. It was an ugly Friday in practice, a lot of wet weather around, but fortunately we're getting dry weather. Into Cape Town corner, Fourie under pressure right now from Chop Sapuka. It's Audi's S4. Those supercharged beasts are still performing really well. Look at the drive that Chops gets out of that corner. Can he do it? Can he sneak a win here?
If he sneaks the win, remember he's still got that 30-second penalty that's probably going to be imposed on him as they come across the line. He goes side by side, but it's Fourie who takes it and takes double victories in the sprint races. Van der Linde coming through right behind Chop Sapuka, and just in the background there, Henny Groenewald sitting all alone down in 4th place, not able to run with the pace of the Audis. But this man is going to be very happy. We're moving on to the theme piece right now, but with a double victory in his hand so far, what a way to come back to Bridgestone.
Let's get the confirmations. Johan Fourie leads it out. Etienne van der Linde 2, Henny Groenewald 3, Michael Stephen, then Anthony Taylor.
Look at that, Dion Jabeur finishing up in 6th place, and Sapuka getting that 30-second penalty drops him down to 7th.
With all the hype surrounding the launch of the brand new F30 BMWs, we felt that you weren't going to come to the party, and eventually you did. Second in race number 2. Well done, Etienne.
Yeah, I think a reasonable debut for the new BMW F30. Obviously, we've had limited testing, just having finished the car 2 weeks ago. But considering that, I think
We bang on the pace, and things can only improve for the next one once we've done a bit more development work.
The world-class racing continues, and with a little bit of a break in proceedings to get the cars all sorted out for the theme piece, you can see that part of the world-class racing is to get some world-class action off the circuit too.
Notice some of those MasterChef girls were in the house.
What are they going to do to get Pinard's car back on track? Lots of work to be done there, and I'm sure John Mayer will be back for race 3.
ADF Motorsport with a new launch of the BMWs, having a fine afternoon so far.
This is the man to beat, though. And we managed to catch up with a Cape Town local in between, as race 1 and 2 are now behind us, and we look forward to the theme piece.
I'm Dion Jabert, coming back after a couple of years into a BMW, the Pertec BMW 71, A71 car. We're racing here at Killarney racetrack. But a long history of racing here. You could call it my home circuit, although not as much success here, funny enough, as some other tracks. Killarney is actually very dangerous. It doesn't reward any errors. The walls are really close by, and the straights are really fast with very hard braking at the corners. So if something does go wrong, the accident is quite big. Most of my rivals have kind of retired, in particular my very strong teammates Sean van Linde and Sean Watson-Smith. Etienne van Linde is Sean's younger brother. He's in the same team as me. And of course Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor was a very strong rival for me through the years in touring cars, Formula GTI, right from about 1992. So looking very much forward to crossing swords with Anthony. Most of the other drivers, Johan Fourie was a rival in the SASCAR series, and a little bit in West Banks. Of course, Gary Fumato, but Gary Fumato doesn't race in the same class. These Class A cars are just so strong that we don't really bother with the Class T cars, except if it was going to rain. Then maybe they'll be a bit closer. But they're so strong, they just drive past them on the straights. So most of the other guys, I never really raced with Michael Stevens, although I rate him very, very highly. Chops just sometimes. Wouldn't really have called them rivals in my career because they were a bit younger than me. Donovan van Heerden of ADF Racing offered me this ride in the Pertec car. Pertec is a big supplier of hydraulic equipment and so on. They're also a very big racing history in Australia, so it's quite exciting. It's quite nice to be driving that car. ADF Racing, incredibly professional. In fact, this car in the Afrox colours won the last race, so at Swartkops. So it's quite exciting to be driving the car. I know it's very competitive. Very beautifully prepared. Freddie is a legend, and I think the team's level is right up there with the touring car teams that I drove for. It's during our touring car racing, we were privileged to race against some of the best drivers in the world. Joachim Winkelhoek, Steve Soper, Paul Radishish, and the current crop of drivers in production cars also have the same racing history. They all raced in Europe. Etienne van Linde, Anthony Taylor, Gary Fumato, Johan Fourie. People like this don't have to step back at all to anybody that's racing even in Formula 1. And I can tell you that this Bridgestone production car racing is world class.
Lots of work in the break, and the majority of cars back onto the track for race number 3. It's 12 laps this time. We're looking forward to see whether that man can go 3 for 3 today. And are we going to see the Afrox BMWs spoil the day on debut?
Well, with all the bad luck that he's had, Taylor's managed to get it a pole through a fastest lap.
His teammate right behind him, Michael Stephen, fired up, as is Melville. Got his car sorted out. Look out for Jabert, though. He is very quick around the circuit. But that's the man they've got to beat.
So action aplenty. Get ready for our theme piece. 12 laps here at Cape Town. It's Killarney for round 2 of the Bridgestone Production Car Championship.
Onto the warm-up lap now, and it's a rolling start, so it's going to be action aplenty down towards turn 1, West Bank corner. Holes Hook, as it was always known. And now we look forward to what's going to happen as they head into turn 1. The BM gets a good start off the line. He's going to bring Etienne van der Linde along for the ride. We go on board with Michael Steven as they head into Westbank. And there is Johan Fourie sneaking through side by side with Steven's teammate there, Chop Sapuka, going to be forcing one. Look at the sunset right into that windscreen. Very difficult for the drivers to come out of there. And you can see Steven being forced wide there. Wow, it's getting rough.
Wow, almost no room there as they're going to approach engine corner as well. I thought he was going to get run off the road there. But Henny Grunewald really holding his own. Oh, he gets great drive out of that corner. Wow, that is stunning.
Brilliant bit of stuff here. On board with Sapuka. And you can see the BMWs are trying everything they can to try and get this debut race and get some kind of victory behind it because they've had a really up and down day. Van der Linde, the most consistent of the two drivers. Taylor with a bit of bad luck. But right now, that luck looks like it's turned completely around.
Wow, that BMW looks really, really hot on the pace, and Van der Linde doesn't look too shabby as well. On board Groenewald on the way down to the Cape Town corner, down this back straight. As we mentioned earlier, BMW not so much focused on the top-end speed, but more about plotting that power and making up thousands on the corner, which then coincides with putting a good lap time together.
Oh, Sapuka doing a bit of brake checking there on Johan Fourie. You don't want to do that through Cape Town. He'll probably punch you straight off and show you the way around Cape Town corner. Michael Steven tries to go on the inside, and he has got on the inside there, getting much better drive out of Cape Town corner. He might be able to go side by side and possibly outbrake Fourie into Westbank. Now they come along, and look at that, right behind him is Melville Priest. So it's three Audis almost side by side. The S4 Engine Extreme 1 wins out that little battle and goes into slot behind his teammate.
Yeah, if we didn't know better, you could actually call that the Audi Cup, but it's not. And Bridgestone right now being led out with the Anthony Taylor Team Afro's new BMW making its worldwide debut here. What a fantastic machine. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about some of the parts on this car throughout the race.
Come down into the kink now, down towards Rose Foundation, and Van der Linde has a look in his rearview mirrors, and all he can see is Sapuka. Sapuka's got Steven, then Steven with Johan Fourie. The steam train of Audis tucked in behind the second BMW, and this is the lead one at the stage. Sapuka is looking very dangerous, and he wants to get onto the podium. He had a bit of bad luck there and a bit of a jump start and got penalised for it. He's now going to make up for that lost ground, and he's going to go all out. Oh, a bit of damage from one of our Class T cars right in the middle of the track. How did they miss that? Wow! Left, right, centre, and a piece of GTI bumper still in the middle of the track.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who that did belong to.
Oh, Steven sideways there. Did you see that, Steve?
Yeah.
He lit the brakes up so much you could actually see the discs, and they were the same colour as the Indy Oil car behind him.
So there's...
Whoa! Man, there's just action all over the place.
What happened to Fourie? How can he see? Oh, he's still racing. Oh, no, that's insane.
He's still keeping the pace, and he's not going to let Melville through. How is he seeing anything? He's going by the side of the track. He's looking out the side window to get the braking markers for the corner, but I don't know how much longer that can go on. That Indy Oil Audi's bonnet is right across the windscreen, and yeah, he's pulled to the sideline. I didn't think he'd be able to keep it going all the time. Hopefully he can get it back to the pit lane and get it sorted out.
Well, surely a ruling would be the marshals, wouldn't they have flagged him down, because that could have a potentially dangerous effect on the rest of the race cars.
Well, he has to pull onto the side. There's no way he can keep up the kind of pace that these guys are running at the front with that bonnet over the windscreen. And the Table View Glass Company are going to be very happy about the fact that they put that glass in. Here's Sapuka going into Malmesbury. Can he make it thick? Yes, he can. We don't see that often. Into Malmesbury. Sapuka on the inside, and he moves up one position, taking out Van der Linde.
How crazy was that line that he took? You don't take...
He's run wide!
Oh!
Jeez. This is action aplenty here. Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Harmy Levy. Oh, he's tagged Van der Linde. Oh, that could have some repercussions.
Oh.
Van der Linde and Sapuka coming together as they went into engine. Oh, man, listen to that BM roar as it comes out. Absolutely flat-out stuff. Van der Linde's not going to be happy, but he's now got to try and make up all that lost ground.
And not only that, Donovan van Heerden's going to go, what are you doing to my paint job? I mean, really, they arrived here in spick and span condition. Oh, look at this, side by side. 8 of 12 right now in our final think piece. It is Michael... Oh, look at Michael Steven getting all squared. Look at the colour of those brake discs. They're lighting up right now as the sun goes down.
Yeah, and the Olin's car sneaks through, so Melville Priest also looking to make up for a little bit of bad luck this weekend. He's now put himself in between the two Engine Extreme Audis, and Michael Steven just making mistakes left, right, and centre. Not the kind of driving we saw from Steven that put that #1 plate on the car.
So, being chased down is Chop Sapuka. Melville Priest putting a little bit of pressure on. He's had a torrid weekend himself. And a lot of bad luck. A lot of these drivers on board with Michael Steven right now, the Engine Extreme Audi, on their way down to Cape Town corner. This is where, who's got the metal to get on the brake? Oh, look at this, Melville Priest on the outside. Chop Sapuka keeping a really steady line. And I'll tell you what, he'll bring Michael Steven. But I'll tell you what, Melville Priest is no mug, and he gets great drive. Look, he's giving Chop Sapuka a real big dice.
Well, he's gone around the outside of Cape Town and used the banking, and it's helped him out. He's got got better drive along the straightaway. It's two Audis side by side as they cross the line. And Melville Priest seems to have the edge. Can he have what it takes on the brakes? Yes, he does. Sapuka goes very late. Michael Stephen goes with him. He's going to try and drive around the outside of Holds and Westbank. He's not able to do it. And Michael Stephen might be able to slingshot through. Sapuka runs wide. Michael Stephen alongside him and gets past his teammate. Oh, that's much better stuff. That's the kind of driving we saw from the champion last year.
Well, that's why Cape Town just loves the Bridgestone Production Car Championship when it comes into town. So, we're getting down closer to the final lap, and here we are on the final lap, and it is really being flag to flag for a very dominant display from Anthony Taylor and the new launch debut for the F30 BMW. What a package.
That's the way to do it. Come out in your first race meeting and take a victory. It might not have been all three, but they're going to be very happy, and the luck has definitely changed for Anthony Taylor. He takes the final theme piece. A brilliant bit of driving sees him 4.5 seconds ahead of Henny Grunewald Sassel Subaru. Melville Priest wins out the battle with the Audis and takes third place. Absolutely brilliant.
One of the things to consider here as well, double the points here, Greg.
Yeah, awesome stuff there, and that's exactly what he wanted to do. Make up for that lost ground. Taylor taking it from Grunewald, Priest winning out the battle of the Audis, Michael Stephen in 4th place, and Etienne van Linde in 5th.
As we thought, there's confirmation that Chop Sapuka was penalised for overzealous driving and moved down to 9th position.
Well done, Anthony Taylor. Finally, the debut for the BMW rocking race.
Yeah, I know, it was absolutely fantastic. You know, what a way to launch the new BMW F30 with the M-Performance parts. And really, the long race, the BMW is built for endurance. And I must say, you know, with the Afrox behind it, the M-Performance parts, the brakes and everything that goes with it, it's been absolutely unbelievable.
Team Sassel Subaru, Henny Grunewald, a better way to finish.
Yeah, I think happy with that. You know, we haven't been right on top this year in terms of a pole position or a win, but we've been consistent, you know, and it's something we've lacked in the past, and it's keeping us in there with a shout. And, you know, the development curve in production cars is steep, but we're really trying to get that Sassel Subaru to the top again.
In the championship points heading down to the Windy City, Anthony Taylor now leads out ahead of Etienne van der Linde, his teammate. Grunewald is definitely on the move and up to 3rd place with Michael Stephen right behind him. The next round of the Bridgestone Production Cars and Westbank Super Series takes place this weekend at the Aldo Scribanti Circuit in Port Elizabeth. And after the break, all the action from Class T. Qualifying, the battle between Ford and Volkswagen resumed with Bonafide looking good. Jacques Joubert with a massive improvement in the Golf 5 GTI, and his teammate Nathan getting it completely sideways but putting it on pole position.
So confirmation of the qualifying times, and it puts Graham Nathan and Gary Formato alongside each other on the front row.
Second row is going to be Jacques Joubert in the second Indy Oil car and Bonafide.
Then Dumity and then the veteran Armin Levy.
Problems for Michael van Rooyen and the Opel OPC. The Williams Hunt team had some hassles. We caught up with him to find out what went wrong.
We came to Cape Town with very high hopes for this weekend. We did some good preparation, and unfortunately in the second practice on Friday we lost 5th or 6th gear and changed the gearbox, spent the whole evening changing the gearbox and setting the car up for this morning. And in warm-up this morning, we lost 5th gear. Williams did a tremendous job locating another gearbox for us. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it work for this race. And hopefully we'll be back and strong in Port Elizabeth.
Outstanding result, pole position for T-Class. It's Graham Nathan, the big man, once again for Indy Oil. You must be ecstatic.
I am very happy. It's an outstanding result for my sponsor, Indy Oil, who are from here. The Cape Town crowd always come and do the business at Cape Town. It's unbelievable to come racing here. Beautiful weather, a brilliantly turned out motor car, and I did the work this morning. The car was really loose. Circuit was a bit snotty, but put it down thanks to the guys. The guys have done a superb job. Everybody involved in Indy Oil, I can't mention them all. There are just so many keen racing enthusiasts in this team. Yeah, great thanks to all of them.
Second quickest man in qualifying, Gary Fumano. Not too bad, is it?
No, I'm happy. I mean, look, Graham, we know, can qualify extremely well. So, you know, to be only 2/10 off, I'm quite happy with that. We'll see how the race goes now. We saw what happened in World Cups with the tyres, and that's what we've worked on coming into this race. So we thought we may not have the qualifying pace, but hopefully it's going to give us the longevity in the tyres. So that's the plan. Let's see if it works.
It's 2 sprint races to go. The first one is going to be a rolling start, and the original Jive Bunny is back in the Jive GTI. Armin Levy looking to set the pace here and stay with these guys. But remember, there is action aplenty and has been since the start at Swartkops, and we're going to see more of the same into Westbank.
So down into the first corner, this is what it's all about. It's great racing at Cape Town Killarney Circuit for second round coverage.
Oh, tap already!
Bonafide, what was that?
Germany getting on the back end of Jabir, putting Jabir sideways. Bonafide took evasive action, nearly got it wrong himself. But Sean Germany now is sitting in 4th place. Look where Jabir's fallen back to, right into the clutches of Armin Levy. He's going to have to work real hard to catch this front 4.
And the other thing is, I'll tell you what, Sean Dumany's got a very short memory.
Exactly. And Bonafide is the kind of man you don't want to be doing that. There it comes. There's the tap. Little one on Jabir. He gets it sideways. Bonafide has to go around the outside, and he gets a tap too. So 2 GTIs into turn 1. Corner pocket. Thank you, Sean Dumany.
All right, so we're back in the action and on board with Sean Dumany in the Castrol Ford Focus. Killarney suits the Castrol Ford with a series of long straights, high-speed sweeping corners. The Marquis has historically always done well at the picturesque Cape Town circuit. They'll use their years of setup and experience to ensure that they can set this pace and actually really get a result.
Well, they're trying hard to get the result, but Nathan's trying even harder. He was the pole man, lost a little bit of ground there into turn 1, and Formado's now starting to pull a bit of a gap. Will Nathan be able to close that gap down as Formado's teammate? He's having his own little problems here. Coming in, it looks like it's going to be, yes, Germany sneaking through. So he's got ahead of Bonafide. Bonafide, he's had problems on the car. They've had to do a whole rebuild overnight. So let's see whether or not that GTI can fire like the one a little bit further up the road can.
Well, Greg, it can be said that Gennaro Bonafide, as of late, is going through the same sort of problems that Michael Verhoeven is having with his car.
Yeah, the Opel, unfortunately, not on track. They couldn't get it right, and it looks like Indy Oil GTI 5 coming through the field nicely there too. And look at this, all over the back at the halfway mark of Sean Dumany. Now, can that GTI 5 find a way past? It's Indy Oil versus Castrol. Man, the oil battles just continue all over the place here. Well, are we going to have a return of the favour? Yes, we are. Take that, Sean Dumany. Oh, this is just unbelievable stuff. This is the kind of racing we've seen all the way through the season so far between these guys, and it looks like Sean Dumany's got a problem. The damage on the car, and Jabir's off as well, so the two of them losing out there into Westbank corner because of the little tap between Jabir and Dumany, and Bonafide's been gifted a 3rd place.
That didn't look like it was on purpose. I think that's rubbing and racing. Let's have a look at this in depth right now.
Well, he has a look on the inside, gives him a tap. He returned the favour, there's no doubt about it, because that's exactly what happened to him in turn 1 on lap 1. And now they're getting to sort of the closing stages. That's not what you want to be doing. Jabir gets forced onto the outside of the track. That's because Dumany came across after a little bit of damage on the car. The two of them now off track. And can they get back on and possibly finish this race?
All right, 4 of 8. And the most significant thing to think about here at the moment, coming into this championship for the second round, Formato leading on 27, Nathan on 22, Dumany on 20, and they're all out there still.
Yeah, it's real close. I don't think that Ferroto GTI is going to be finishing this race. You can see smoke out of it, and there you can see, big problems here for Gennaro Bonafide. What a pity for this young man. He really has tried hard. They worked overnight, very late into the morning to get this car sorted, but it's not 100% yet, and he might have to pull into pit lane.
What's your thinking on it?
I think there's going to be a lot of work being done in between these races so he can get ready for the final theme piece, because I don't think he's going to be ready for race number 2. As the checkered flag comes out for race 1, it is Formato from Graham Nathan. That is going to be the battle to watch in race 2.
This is going to secure those points deficits at the moment by a small margin and keep him in the front. So let's get confirmation of that position. Gary Formato, as Greg said, Graham Nathan, 1 and 2, Sean Dumany in 3rd, Jacques Jabir, and then Armin Levy.
It looks like Graham Nathan really had it, but where you came from, just out of the blue, was fantastic.
It looks like, to me, it looks like he missed a gear or something. So it gave me a bit of a chance to get ahead. So, you know, it was pretty cool from there. I mean, the car was just behaving well. Just drove around to the end, really. So I hope we actually have a better race of it now, the second heat.
I think we're going to be seeing a great one. A standing start has been called. The 6 cars are completely inverted. And where has Graham Nathan gone? He's gone with Class A. He got that completely wrong.
Oh, my word.
That's not the way to start the race, Graham. Anyway, he knows he's going to have a 30-second penalty coming his way, so he's now going to go all out, forget about it, and do whatever he can to get to the front end and try and get that deficit down as much as possible.
But that's not going to happen. You know, Nathan, he's going to be so peeved off with himself.
Yeah, big mistake there from him, and onto the back end. Jacques Joubert, his teammate, though, was on pole and disappears at the front end with Germany closing down on him into engine corner. So it's Indy Oil sideways, GTI 5 with Sean Germany. Now, is this little battle going to resume? I think we might just see a little bit more action between the two of these cars.
You think. So, they continue on the front, the charge for the Indy Oil stable. And Jacques Joubert looking cool at the moment, being chased down by Duminy. And not many in this field, but the exciting racing will continue, I'm sure of it.
And they're looking for another victory for the Indy Oil team. They saw 2 out of Johan Ferrari earlier on in our show and earlier on the day. And, of course, while these guys are racing, down that back straightaway, Sean Duminy giving it everything he can in the Ford Focus. As they get onto the braking markers, are we going to see his teammates slot by? Because there's a good possibility that he's running slightly better pace. And there you can see it coming right onto the back end, but having to go defensive as Nathan closes down on Formato.
It's like Ford versus GTI here. There's no doubt about that. I mean, look at the 2 cars out there. It's tag team wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Tag team wrestling between the Fords and the GTIs. Volkswagen versus the Ford brand. And you can see just how hard they are trying. Formato and Nathan side by side. Little bit of blocking and great positional play there from the Ford team to keep out Nathan. They are working like a team. And I think Nathan's just going to try and force his way through, and does. Oh, ran unbelievable stuff there from Graham Nathan. A little tap on the back end of Germany saying, I'm coming through.
Well, Killarney only has 5 corners and is deceptively fast. And not many people realise this, but it's the second fastest racetrack in Southern Africa.
Looking awesome for racing, that's for sure. Nathan runs a little bit wide coming out of engine corner, and that's allowing the door to be open slightly there for Formato. He had a look, but he just backed out of it for now. He's going to wait and see if his teammate can help him out. He's the meat and the sandwich at the moment between those 2 ST Focuses, and he's looking at the front end and waiting for his teammate to help him out. But Jacques Joubert is concentrating on one thing and one thing only, a possible victory.
Well, we've seen this many times before. Roles reversed, Duminy, Formato, and now the roles are now again reversed. Oh, look at that, squeezes him right on the outside. But Nathan doesn't flinch. Sean Duminy certainly got the pace down the straight, but we knew that to start with.
Yeah, look at that, down the straight, that Ford Focus just pulls away from them, and there goes Formato. Around the outside, trying to get around his teammate. Will Duminy give him the room? He does, and then goes on to defensive to keep the GTI out. This is brilliant stuff. Tactical work here from the Ford team to keep Nathan at bay. But the in-house fighting between the 2 of them is allowing Jacques Joubert to get away. But look at Nathan, comes straight back and says, I'm going to go with Gary. I'm going to make sure that this GTI gets into 3rd place, and he's done it.
Well, it's not only that. I mean, Formato's now got the line to charge against Joubert at the moment, and Nathan's not going to have any of this. So he'll bring him along and just watch out if there's any funny stuff. Of course, the other thing is got to consider the 30-second penalty. It's not going to matter what he's going to do right now. If I was him, a little nudge here or there.
You may see a little bit of that from Graham Nathan. But let's wait and see if it's going to happen. Nathan in 3rd place now on Formato's tail. Formato trying to bring him along to catch the man who leads out. They've eventually got to Joubert. And now side by side, under braking. The Ford hangs on. Joubert's locked it up. That could cost him a bit of drive out of Cape Town and might just play into the hands of his teammate. Graham's in the perfect position. He's in the slipstream of the GTR 5. Joubert looks in the rearview mirror through that big Simpson helmet. Very Stig-like looking drive as they come down across the line. Look at how they're pushing. Stephen Green nearly flicking the wing mirror there as they came past.
Certainly gentleman driving going on at the moment. What's happening?
Look at this. Nathan goes on the inside. Joubert tries to do the blocking roll, but Formato was already too far up alongside him, and he's got through. Big puff of smoke out of that Ford as they come out of West Bank corner. They're now side by side, and it looks like Gary, a little rubbing is racing there between the 2 of them. Will Joubert be able to get on the brakes? He does, and he goes blocking on Gary Formato. So it's roles reversed once again. This time it's the Ford who's feeling it.
Wow, domino effect, absolutely brilliant. And the crowd are just loving this. GTI versus Ford. And it's not done and dusted at the moment. Wow, places are switching left, right, and centre at the moment. Formato still bringing pressure. All he has to do is overtake Nathan if he can.
He's not going to be able to get past. He's got to get past Joubert first as they come out of Moncrief. Joubert doing a brilliant job here for the Indy Oil team as they go down that back straightaway. It's the older GTI 5 keeping out the new Focus. And Formato is going to try something here. He was able to slingshot around the outside of his teammate. Can he do the same thing here on the GTI? He's got the line. He likes this outside line. Can he make it work for him? Joubert knows he's going to go outside, and look at how he forces him wide.
Well, I've got a special number. Let's take in this number. Number 30, 30-second penalty.
Yeah, the 30-second penalty is all over this man, and unfortunately, even if he takes the checkered flag, he is going to feel the brunt of that mistake. But there goes Formato, driving around the outside of the GTI 5, down the straight, extra bit of power there in that focus, and no answer from Jacques Joubert's GTI.
I did say that Formato could hunt down Graham Nathan. That seems to be the case so far.
Has he got enough time, though? I think he might have run out of corners and time on the track for the second race, but it's been brilliant. This is Class T at its finest.
Well, can you imagine if there were like 9 cars in this field?
It would be even worse. No, let's not go there, okay? Rather leave that one out. As we get into the final lap, Graham Nathan has done it all right. He made a mistake at the beginning. He's got it to the front. He's going to try and get as much room between himself and that Ford Focus as he can, but that 30-second penalty is possibly going to be nailed onto the coffin there. So he takes the victory. Cape Town sees him win, but let's see what the COC has to say.
More important, Formato will get the points. There's no doubt about it. Confirmation, Formato leads it out. Jacques Joubert, Sean Duminy, Graham Nathan. There it is, the penalty.
Your highest finish yet in this series. You must be feeling pretty happy with yourself.
Yes, we've been really honoured this year and been backed by Indy Oil team. It's a fantastic team. Thanks for Indy Oil and all of the co-sponsors this year, and Graham Nathan for giving me the opportunity this year, and especially in his ex-championship car. The car is superb, and his team, Dean and all of them, the car's setup is the best.
Well, will he make the same mistake in race number 3? We hope not. There's a man who'd love to be on track, but the Williams Hunt OPC, unfortunately, didn't make it out at all on the weekend.
Gennaro Bonafede having all sorts of bad luck.
And working hard to get the car sorted for race number 3.
No chance for Michael van Rooyen. That car's out of it.
Those two very happy with the results so far.
Race strategy? What race strategy?
Looking forward to the theme piece now. We managed to catch up with one of the rookies of the season, Jacques Joubert.
I'm Jacques Joubert, racing in the GTI 5 of the Indy Oil team. Coming into round 2 at Killarney, the car's up to spec with the new turbo that we're running this year. This year, it's quite a tough year, jumping straight into the deep end of Class T with all the top drivers of South Africa nationally, competing against my teammate Graham Nathan, a national champion. Really a fantastic guy to work with, competing against people like Gennaro Bonafede and Gary Formato. It's a great honor just to be able to be in the same race as them. Like Gary Formato, he's the top Class T champion of last year. Competing against him is very, very tough. Men like Michael van Rooyen as well, in that flying Rustenburg Opel of his. Indy Oil is backing me for this year. I just want to thank Trevor and Adam and Graham Nathan, as well as my dad, for giving me this opportunity this year. I also want to thank Carbon King, as well as Nathan's Motorsport for preparing the car, and Peter K. Eddy from K. Eddy Properties for all their support, and Rob Green Motorsport, also always there to dyno the car and get the car on A-spec for national Class T racing. I'm the youngest competitor in Class T. I've got a lot to prove in the 2012 racing season. British-owned production cars, Class T, world-class racing.
Hunt Opel OPC looking very despondent. The driver, Michael van Rooyen, has to look forward to Port Elizabeth. As we look forward to the theme piece, 12 laps of action, and the Class T battle about to resume.
It's been an outstanding day for the spectators so far for round 2 of the Bridgestone Production Car Championship. Normal protagonists are here and ready to race.
Formato go 3 for 3, or will this man try and make up for that little mistake in race number 2?
Count on it.
No doubt. Rolling start. They get underway, and down into turn 1 is where all the action is going to happen. They're going to try and keep it all together for the next 12 laps. And look at that. It's Fords alongside the two GTIs. You do not get better than that. And Armin Levy in the Giant Bunny, he's going to be sitting there going, I'm not going to get involved. You guys go and do whatever you need to do.
You called that 100% right.
Into turn 1. Wow, look at that. The action's already started as this is Germany we're on board with. And Formato is getting sideways on the back end of Nathan. This is going to be an unbelievable battle. There's no doubt about it. Formato goes on the inside. Nathan just holds line. It's a bit early to be making those maneuvers because there are 12 laps to go.
Well, I know they've had their problems in the past, Greg, but you know the one thing about Formato and Nathan, they love racing against each other, and there's a huge amount of respect between the two.
There's a huge amount of respect, and there's lots of rubbing expected between the two of them too. As they come out of Rose Foundation sweep, it's GTI 1, 2 Fords between the second GTI down in 4th.
Well, there's no harm in swapping door handles. I mean, that's racing, as you said, but what a great part of the circuit right now. And they'll get up to around about 210 kilometres an hour down this back straight before they have to get hard on the brakes in a Cape Town corner. And, of course, the average speed run here, and we did mention earlier on that this is the second fastest racetrack in South Africa, and the Fords are milking it.
Yeah, they're looking good. There's no doubt about it, but you can see just how hard Nathan is working. He's made that mistake, and he now says, right, I have to make up for lost ground. My sponsors are here. They've got a massive contingency, and I'm going to make it a victory here for the Indy Oil GTI team.
So Jack Jabert's got a thing to prove as well, and I'm sure he's going to get some wonderful exposure from this race meet as well, because as a rookie, he's doing a sublime job in the GTI. The Golf 5, I might add you, and that's a championship car.
Don't you just love the fact that you've got the roles reversed at the front end? It's GTI versus Ford, and then Ford versus GTI. Almost identical cars as they come out of Westbank corner, heading towards engine. There goes Formato onto the outside line. That's the superbike line. It's not a bad option to run out there because it's a lot less bumpy, but Nathan saw him coming, and he just closed the door.
I think they're a little bit more balanced through the Rose Foundation sweep. Normally they have to be quite careful going through there, but they really are on the limit here and getting through there, which is a wonderful part of the racetrack to view this race.
The thing is, of course, is they're going to be pushing those Bridgestone tyres to their limits, as always. And Germany, especially if he gets it that sideways out of Rose Foundation, up towards Malmesbury. Jacques Jabert starting to close on that gap now. And Germany had a little bit of an advantage, but it's definitely being closed down by Jabert.
Well, certainly a man that's always in the mind's eye of many of the drivers on their day, although a smaller field. Oh, look at that. We've got a windbreak. It's Nathan's boots up.
And his bumper goes flying, so it looks like a little bit of rubbing between the two cars has cost that bumper to fall off. And that's where the boot is actually latched on. So without the bumper, there is no possibility of keeping that boot closed. And now he's going to be using a full-on air brake. There's no doubt about it.
The other thing to consider here, and I guarantee this is going to affect him, it's not like he's going to get a lot of carbon dioxide going in through that cockpit, and he's going to be taking in some really harmful fumes.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't too worry about that too much. I think more importantly is he's now concerned about the fact that he's sitting behind the Ford because of that massive wing on the back of his car caused by that boot opening. So will Formato be able to get away from Graham? Graham's going to have to drive his heart out to stay with Formato with this little problem.
Well, if Nathan does make a mistake, I'll just say, well, blame it on the fumes.
Don't know about that one, but as they come out of engine corner, he's still able to stay with the Ford. So even though he's got this problem, you can see there goes the bumper, and it pops that boot right open. Well done, Gary, for missing it. How he got away from that, I have no idea. And remember, we saw how close all the Class A cars came to that bit of debris, but they managed to get it off the track eventually. It has cost Nathan some dear time, though, as Formato was able to get past him down that main straight.
Well, I know you touched on it, but you've got to understand how good that really was from Formato. Brilliant driving, because that could have turned ugly.
And it could have ended up with the bumper going through the windscreen. So fortunately, that's not what happened. The race continues, though. And at the front end, it's all about Nathan trying to make up for some more lost ground. And there they go past the bumper. And look at how the Ford pulls away down that back straight due to the fact that the GTI now has some additional air braking.
Yeah, I'm surprised Sean Dumity's not making a go of this, because he certainly will have speed going down the straight, and this is certainly going to affect Graham Nathan's chances right now. But he's still driving, and he's got that car on the pace, but that will make a difference.
I can tell you that basically half the circuit Nathan is able to run with Formato, and the other half he's not able to, and that's the straights. So here you see he loses more ground down this main straightaway and into Westbank corner. Germany closes right on him and actually runs a little wide, in fact a little bit too wide for his liking. He hasn't hit the apex at all there, but that was due to the fact that he was pulled in by that extra bit of wind resistance. He got sucked in behind the GTI and had no choice but to climb on the anchors hard.
All right, engine corner it is, and Sean Doomany. Now, I don't want to be the prophet of doom right now, but just when we get a chance to have a look at Jacques Jabert's Golf 5, have a look at the bonnet, not the boot, the bonnet. Because if that goes, then we've got a bonnet and a boot up.
Well, I can tell you something, we already had that, remember? The Indy Oil Audi lost its bonnet. This time it's the Indy Oil GTI losing the boot. Just non-stop action here. Doomany runs wide again. So he's getting it completely sideways out there, which is losing him lots of ground. I can't believe the fact that we're into lap 10 of 12 and Gary Formato has not pulled away from Graham Nathan. Can you imagine if that boot was closed?
Nah, Gary's just teasing him.
You think so? I don't know, mate. I think Nathan is driving the absolute wheels off this GTR to stay with Gary Formato. Not to take anything away from Gary, though. He is having a phenomenal day, and he's trying to go for 3 for 3.
Well, as Ferry goes past, let's have a look at that bonnet if we can see it from Jacques Jabert. It's bouncing up and down. I hope it stays locked.
I hope it stays locked because we're going to have the same situation as Ferry, having to go into pit lane and have some duct tape repairs done to the front end. Formato is just, well, I think he is teasing Graham a little bit, yeah. There's no doubt about it. Graham is, well, he's working hard at the wheel, but he just doesn't have the pace because of that massive wing on the back of the car now. It comes down slightly, as I said. You can see here in the twisty bits, he's able to stay with the Ford. But as soon as they get onto that back straight, goodbye.
Would you call that maybe an air brake?
You think so? Let's see if he's able to use his stablemate here. Johan Ferry might be able to help him out. Maybe get a little bit of slipstream effect from the Audi as they go down the back straight, which will allow him to close onto Formato. And I think Formato has got the drive. Look at how they come out of Malmesbury.
Brilliant.
Brilliant stuff here. Here's Sean Doomany's view. And he is on it. And he has to be, because he's got Jabert right on his boot. This is how close things have got here, and really nothing in it between these guys. Oh, this is awesome stuff. And in fact, there's a problem on Doomany. He's slowed up dramatically, and Jabert just goes flying past him. There's definitely a hassle in this car. There's no way that Jabert should have been able to do that easily. There you see, driving off. And what a pity there for Sean Doomany. Definitely in with a chance of another podium. I wonder what happened at the front end there. Look at the damage on the car.
Massive damage on the car.
Unfortunately, we didn't catch that action, but we will find that out after the race. Down into Cape Town corner for the final time. And it is going to be Formato. 3 for 3. Wow. What a way to leave Cape Town.
Absolutely. He's going to be smiling big time when we get to the third round. And the danger is Nathan cannot afford to give these easy points away to his nemesis, Gary Formato.
Formato going to take the line. His teammate there, Germany, circulating, just trying to finish the race and get some points in the bag. Formato makes it 3 for 3. Graham Nathan. Oh, what a luckless weekend for the man. But he'll be back at round 3. There's no doubt about it. And the Indy Oil GTIs will take on those Castrol Fords in an epic battle.
Right, let's get the confirmation of those results in our theme piece. Gary Formato, Graham Nathan, Jacques Jabert, and Sean Doomany.
Round number 2, Bridgestone Production Car Championship in Cape Town comes to an end, and a very successful end for Team Ford. Gary Formato, in there, a bit of luck, but you know what? You make your own luck.
You know, you've got to take them when they come your way. I mean, you know, you need a bit of luck. So, you know, we've got 2 wins, I think, by luck today, actually. And, well, thank you very much. But I tip my hat to Graham. I mean, they had a better car than us today. I mean, in the corners as well, the car's good in a straight line. They had a really good package.
Jacques Jabert in the Indy Oil GTI. You must be delighted. I know it ended up being a smaller field, but you still have to drive and get a podium.
Yes, it was a fantastic day. Practice went amazing, and the preparing of the car has been amazing. The whole race event, through qualifying and both races. We had unfortunate luck in race 1, but we made up in race 2 and race 3. Kept going consistent, and at the end we saved the tyres and we finished on another podium.
The friendly rivalry will continue at the Friendly City as Gary Formato leads into the Port Elizabeth round. Graham Nathan in second, Doomany and Jabert 3 and 4, and Bonafide, he's got lots of work to do.
Manufacturer results at the moment, Ford leading it out, and why wouldn't they be? 156, 6 shy of Volkswagen, BMW, Audi, Subaru, Mini, and Opel.
Log on to westbanksuperseries.co.za and tag their Facebook and Twitter for more information.
That's a wrap of the Bridgestone production cars, as well as conclusion to round 2 of the Westbank Super Series here at Cape Town. Next round is in the Windy City of Port Elizabeth. See you there.